welcome back. We're continuing with our current affairs panel, and joining me again is Mike Patton and Michelle Simard. Let's continue along the U.S. politics theme. I mean, we were discussing the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Now, I suppose unrelated to that, President Joe Biden has stepped down as the nominee for the Democratic Party. He's still going to carry out his presidency till the end, which will be to the end of January or sometime in January. But he's no longer the nominee. That came as a shock to many. It wasn't a shock to me, but it was still kind of unprecedented, or at least not in our recent memory. Mike, do you want to start us off on that?
Well, I think it's really upsetting because, to my way of thinking, this was essentially a coup. If Joe Biden was so mentally impaired that he could not perform his job, they should have invoked the 25th Amendment and gotten rid of him long ago. But the truth is, he won the nomination fair and square and had every right to run as the Democratic candidate. And I think they so desperately want to cling on to power, they averted all the rules just to try to do that.
But did they avert the rules? I mean, he resigned on his own volition. Nobody can force your hand to make a statement. Now, they could pull out all funding and organizational support and, death by 1,000 cuts, but ultimately it was his decision, Mike.
Well, I don't know how much it was his decision, really. I think they brought so much pressure to bear, and basically the party was planning to, for all intents and purposes, abandon him. So I don't think he had a choice at the end of the day, but this was just to circumvent him and try to find what they hope would be a better candidate to be Donald Trump.
Michelle, some excellent points by Mike. Like, if you knew he wasn't well now or not up for the job 6 months ago, did we not know that on March 1st when he was the nominee? What are your thoughts, Michelle?
We did. And really, at the end of the day, it is a coup. If he had any mental acuity problems, this would have been identified. Doctors would have said something. Really what it was, they didn't like his performance. People have been complaining about it, and they want to hold on to power. So they realized that this particular candidate won't be able to hold on to power, so let's get rid of him. And they were just going to keep stonewalling him with funds until he eventually realized that he can't go any further, which is why he had to step down. So it's not because he wanted to. It was very clear when he read his statement. He didn't really want to step down. I feel bad because he had more gusto. But to be honest, I also felt he should have been a one-term president anyways, given his age and given his commitment to what he did for the United States. He's been a long-time statesman. It should have been a segue for Kamala Harris. And he wanted to go another round because this is what happens when you get into power. You want more of it.
So he has endorsed Kamala Harris as the new, to be the new nominee. That's his vice president. However, it's not set in stone, Mike, as you may know, that once the Democratic Convention comes, there's a lot of things, rules have to be changed to allow for a process, maybe resembling some kind of democratic process, because there's no time for primaries or what looks like a traditional primary, that's for certain.
Well, theoretically, it's going to be an open convention, but I think that Kamala and the people around her have gotten out to such a quick start that they're going to use as much intimidation as possible just to keep people out of the race. I don't think at the end of the day, we're going to see any substantial race at the Democratic National Convention.
And also for the Election Commission rules, the Federal Election FEC, they're already making some arguments here saying, well, first of all, if she's the running mate, so she could take the war chest with any of the province, unlike any other candidate could. They would have a different process, but she could because she's an incumbent with a running mate with the same war chest. So this is what makes her the natural candidate. How does it affect us in Canada? I think this is good. I think this opens the door for us.
She was his running mate, but Biden picked her. She wasn't a democratically selected running mate in 2020. So there was no democratic process. In fact, she ran in the primaries and did abysmally, dropped out, and then she was selected as a running mate. So if she is if there's some kind of semblance of a democratic process, I think those 14 plus million Americans who came out to vote for the primaries and end up throwing their lot for Biden with very little contest would be probably angry.
No, there has to be some form of process. There has to be a process.
So we'll see it. We'll see what happens. Any chance that someone else might come in and swoop the whole thing, Mike?
There's always a chance. It's never too late to screw up. So things could always go wrong for Camilla. But I really think that she's going to be the nominee, and it's going to be very interesting to see how she does head to head with Donald Trump.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be a very interesting debate. Of course, the Democratic convention is until, I believe, the third week in August. So still, several weeks till then. We'll pick up these discussions and switch gears when we return from this commercial break. Please stick around.